Hello and welcome to Journey to a Dream, brought to you by Kawasaki Insurance. So today's chat is a really interesting one. It comes right at the start of TT 2024. We've recorded it on the Tuesday of practice week, and it just gives you such an insight into what goes into making TT happen for privateers especially. Let's meet our guest.
Hi, I'm Dave Rigby. I'm 35. I'm a local resident on the Isle of Man, and I'm doing my first TT after a Manx Grand Prix debut last year.
As we are talking, Dave, I think it's fair to say the Manx weather is throwing everything at us at the moment. We're on Tuesday of practice week of your first TT. Talk us through what last night was like for you then and yesterday afternoon when you got to go out as a TT competitor for the first time.
Obviously, the night before, we was in the unit till like 1 o'clock in the morning still, but that's how it's been for maybe since October. It's just constantly sort of one step to the other, like having to get the bikes, obviously raise money and try and get everything in place. And then we had obviously, was it the storm? Was it on Friday night or something, wasn't it? And at the Manx, I actually set up like my little awning. I'd just bought it, like 1,200 quid. And then the next morning I got a phone call from a friend of mine at the paddock, said, "You need to get here ASAP, your awning's gone." So of course, my heart sank. We went there and it had literally blown to like where the food area court was. So this year, obviously with the weather, we set up early, thought we'd be prepared, because obviously then everything else can fall into place. And obviously we had to let all that back down, which is the best thing we did, because everyone around us, awnings got damaged and God knows what. But we then sort of like a mad dash to get everything done, because you think you got loads of time, but unfortunately with the weather, things didn't come on the boat, so the fairings weren't even fully sprayed as what they are going to be for the rest of the fortnight. Thankfully Reynolds and Turner, who's a sponsor of mine, he's been amazing. I've still got to get the fairings from him today, so at least the bikes look a little bit better, but just sort of felt really rushed, and you, even after so many months, you feel unprepared. But then I didn't even have time to sort of stretch or anything, and at this point you sort of know the bike's up at the holding area, and then reality sinks in. You're like, it's a few minutes time, I'm going to be sat on the start line, and it's just chaos. It just goes to absolute mental mode really. So you feel like you need to go on YouTube and start googling how to ride a motorbike, or do a lap on there just really really. But yeah, next minute you're on the start line, and you're on there with like the best 50 road racers in the world pretty much, and you sort of have like doubts being a privateer if you've done enough. Like say, I only did the Manx Grand Prix, and the weather wasn't fantastic, and stuff like that. So yeah, no, it was just a bit of a shock to the system, but it was amazing. Yeah, there's no word for it. It's just mind blowing. It really is.
And going through all of that, both physically and mentally,
yeah.
How are you the day after? I mean, how does it, I suppose, impact your body in so many ways?
Definitely sore. The shoulders and my neck have certainly took a beating from the 1,000. That's an experience. It literally is just, you're just a passenger really. You open the throttle and it just goes. Bumps you around everywhere. It's pulling you left to right. Even on the straights, you're fighting it. There's not 1 second of rest on it. And then we did the practice laps, the untimed, and because I'd say I was so busy up to that point, because we'd made a few changes with the extra time we had. So by the time we got all the bikes ready and we got up there, I hadn't even actually had like eaten or done stretching, and that's part and parcel, which is why it's sort of like why it felt so rushed and bizarre how it all just came together so quick. But my legs was actually cramping in the caravan, so I was trying to stretch it out, and I was on my little roller. Yeah, I was sort of dreading going out again, but I had a bit of electrolytes and sugar and water back in me and stuff, and then I was actually okay for the time session. It went really well and felt quite relaxed on the bike, which was good. So but then I had to push it up the return road, so I'd done 6 laps, already absolutely exhausted from say months of sleepless nights and late nights and rushing around, obviously, because it's pretty much just me and a guy who's helping me called Mark Tully, Premier Construction. He's been there every night pretty much. He's helped me. I wouldn't be there without him. So yeah, I had to push it, but the clutch adjuster basically had undone itself, so it's a learning curve.
At what point were you aware that had happened?
Sulby straight, yeah, Sulby straight. I felt the lever was like flopping into my hand. I was like, oh no, but obviously it's got a blipper system, so you don't need the clutch on 1,000, thankfully, or it would have been pulled over job. Yeah, so I came down the return road and I was like hoping it'd go into neutral, and it just wouldn't, so I had to like scrub enough speed off. You can't obviously really, ain't got no steering lock on them either, so you can't just turn or anything. So the barrier was in front of me. I thought, oh no. I literally just cut the kill switch and did a bit of a stopping. I was like, please don't like tip over, because obviously they weigh quite a lot. And yeah, I had to push it up. So that didn't help the tiredness in the body. But
there'll be some people listening, Dave, who listen to that. You're talking about the sleepless nights, the stress, everything that's gone into this, and think, why?
I did ask myself that down Bray Hill, to be this is the side of the sport that a lot of people don't know, and it's the one thing that everyone says to me, like, there's people that have sort of jumped in and just sort of helped out here and there, or at least had an insight. Like say Mark Tully, I mentioned before, his family have been brilliant. Like they've come up and like even like bringing camping tables, and it is that sort of situation with me. It's not like I've got 3 or 4 people who can prep the bike for me. I just pick it up and it's done, or anything. Like everything we've either ordered, which is supposed to fit, doesn't fit. It's just been an absolute nightmare. But people don't see that, for especially like little guys like us. We don't have like machinists and stuff. Moynihan, luckily, in Balthay Industrial Estate, you know, he wasn't there and so willing to help, and in like no time at all I wouldn't have even had the tank fitted, because like the kit that was supposed to fit the tank didn't fit. It's just been one thing after another. There's a lot goes into it, a lot of exhaustion, a lot of stress. Everything costs more than what it should have done. So you buy a tank, but then you got to go pay somebody to do this, or this doesn't fit, and import duty, like that's hit me probably twice, because I've had to get parts from Germany for the BMW, and it's things like that. Then you think nothing, then you get a bill through for like 500 quid, and it's like, so yeah, it's a lot of stress and a lot of tiredness. Like, you know, you can't put words on it really. So it's a good relief when you are on that start line, but then that's where it all then crashes down. It's like, have I done enough? I'm competing against people with factory teams, multiple mechanics. Like, can I'm literally just sort of like asking this person or that person for a little bit of advice on where they'd have the suspension or chain length, just to sort of have a easy start of it, if that makes sense, because you're always sort of chasing your tail as a privateer. You know, you haven't got loads of testing. Like a lot of the guys been living in Spain, New Zealand, just constantly on it. We've had probably 4 days on track with the big girl. So yeah, bit of a steep step.
So at what point then did you, despite everything that you possibly weren't aware you were going to have to go through, at what point did you know that you wanted to be on that TT start line, that TT was the ultimate dream?
Oh, I moved over to the island when I was 15. And my family used to come all the time, you see, for it. So I was like in that stage where watching like the Jeffries era and the DVDs and stuff. And Motorcycle News, obviously that used to be the big one then, didn't it? So before YouTube. But yeah, we moved over literally after they'd come back over after like obviously years away from it. And they just wanted obviously the island life and the TT and stuff like that. So as soon as I came over, it was something that's just always been there. Always wanted to do it. I never started obviously as a young kid riding bikes or anything. I started really late. But yeah, it's hard to answer that, because it's like, even though I've done it now, it still doesn't feel real. You know, obviously the Manx didn't really, because we went straight into prepping for the TT, because I got like an invite to do that after a few days at the Manx, which that alone was like more of an achievement than any result on piece of paper. And luckily, I said we had issues with both bikes in the Manx, unfortunately, so I didn't think I'd have done as well as I could have done. So it was still amazing to have the opportunity, or been notice to step up here. So I thought the TT would never be possible. The Manx alone was such a struggle to get into. So I got passed by David Todd last night, and it's bizarre. You know, you're watching him on Northwest, because I couldn't afford to go to Northwest or anything like that. And then, you know, you're watching him battle there. Next minute, he's passing you on the road, and you just think, how am I here? It is, you know, I say to everyone, it's like taking a Blackpool donkey to the Grand National. So yeah, it's amazing.
You say that though, but I mean, you have come such a long way in such a short space of time. The Andrews Racing Association, we talk a lot about that over here, and what a fantastic group that is for anybody who's got remote interest. And you've been through that.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, well, they even lent me the transponders, because even that, you know, you're talking £300-400 a transponder. So for 2 bikes, that alone's just saved, you know, almost £1,000, and organising all that. So they're a fantastic club. What they're doing now with trying to get more people in and re-energise it and stuff is amazing. You know, we had a night with them last week, like Where It All Begins, it was called, and great little club. And
it's having that support from people who understand what you're going through, I guess, as well.
Yeah, anyone who even rides a bike can sort of appreciate what you're going through. So like even a lot of the local lads message you and stuff like that, because, you know, there's quite a few of them stepping up to like the 700 now, or the Manx, and when you're out there you finally respect so much what it is all about. I mean, watching it's impressive, but until you've done it and you've sat on the bike, it is them feelings of doubt, nerves, everything, because, you know, the start line, from being in a cold unit and worrying about money to looking down Bray Hill, it's an emotional roller coaster, so nothing prepares you for it.
You're clearly quite modest about your own talents, because when you went to the MGP, what's it, you finished 10th in the junior race. That is no mean feat at your debut.
Yeah, well, I'm one of them. Because I'd say I never started from a young age. I'm not really that competitive. It has just been to do the TT or the mountain course in general. So the Manx obviously was a lot more of an aim for young guys with lower budgets when I was growing up and stuff. So that was always the aim. But when I got there, obviously we just had so many issues, which everyone has. It is racing. But to me, I just wanted to do it and walk away knowing that I'd done enough to make myself happy, and I just wanted the bikes. I didn't, I wasn't bothered about the fastest bike or this and the other. I just wanted something that was like no trouble, because I said I didn't have like no mechanics. It was literally me in the unit until 3 o'clock in the morning, changing tyres, back up at 6, say trying to source awnings and stuff like that, and it was a bit of a mess, really.
And you were going pretty well in the senior MGP as well. You had to retire. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to be in your head at that moment.
Yeah, because I had gearbox issues on the twin. So, I mean, I did 115 standing start on, I think, the last practice, because I think we rested it for a day, just because the engine was obviously getting a bit tired. I had gearbox issues on a twin, which is why in the race I was really disappointed. It was hitting false neutrals, and I had a few moments where it was a bit like, is this going to finish the race even? So luckily I did. It's helped out obviously for the entry for the TT, but the Kawasaki was a dreadful opening lap, to be honest with you. But obviously I know by Glen Helen, I think I was like 2 seconds off third apparently. So I was riding it as well as I could, but I was, like I said, I was on the coast. I was just frustrated because I just wanted to finish. All I wanted, like a nice finish, the bike just to be smooth, and I would have been happy if I'd finished 25th, 13th, anything, as long as I could have enjoyed the moment. But it's a learning curve. It's been fun.
And you talked about some of the friends and how you sort of keep in touch with each other. Paul Cassidy is a friend of yours as well.
Oh, he's more than that. He's a lifesaver. The unit where I've been able to do all the bike prep and everything, that's his unit. And without that, I wouldn't be able to afford a unit on top of everything to store the bike somewhere with lights. And, well, to be fair, I've got half my van stuff in there from work and everything. Like, even just loading the van and emptying the van constantly to take the bike somewhere or, pick something up. He's a lifesaver, he is. So it's good to be out on the road with him as well. And we can both experience that at the same time, because we both know what goes into it and what troubles actually go on behind the scenes. So, yeah, last night being on the road with him was, again, another amazing experience.
In terms of then trying to find sponsorship, to find support, I'm just guessing here, Dave, but I'm not convinced you're the sort of person who would enjoy going out and trying to get that sort of support.
No, I don't.
I don't know what gave me that impression.
I don't at all, honestly, no. I probably moan about not being able to get sponsorship, but I just sort of feel, especially with the Manx and stuff, like I say, I felt let down in myself, or I didn't feel like it was enough to go out there and sort of go to companies and go, oh, put your faith in me or give me money, because, especially at the TT, we are nowhere near the sharp end, and with the TT, it's pretty much the top 10 that will get any sort of coverage or anything. I wouldn't have liked to take people's money and them not even get a small clip or a photo, so I feel guilty. The good thing with me is I've got people that I've known for years who just help out a little bit here and there, and one guy in particular, like Ian, he lent me the 600 for the Manx, and the newer bike now he's sorted for the TT, and without him I wouldn't be here at all. I just feel guilty asking people, but local companies like Elite Fitness have given me free membership. Reynolds Return, I say, paints my fairings. Premier Construction, I say, Mark and his dad have just, without them I wouldn't have done it, because it was literally just me, and I couldn't have stretched myself any further than what I already have. Say the girlfriend, she's not been out for any meals or anything, she's just sat in the unit with me when she comes over, because she still lives on the mainland, but she comes over here, and before you know it, we're sat in the unit, and 10 minutes has turned into 3 hours because I need to get something measured up and ordered, and things haven't come and stuff. So yeah, just not wanting to let people down, and I'd like to achieve at least something where I can be proud of, then I maybe go out and try and get the support and the funds maybe to give people what I feel like they're worth. Yeah.
And it's interesting, isn't it, when you talk about your girlfriend coming over and having a fun time in the unit. But that's it, isn't it? It's all encompassing. You are literally living and breathing this, certainly at the moment as we're speaking, just heading into practice week properly.
Oh, it's just sacrifice after sacrifice. I haven't bought new clothes, you don't buy new trainers. You literally watch every penny. Your phone bill's up by £10-15. It does make a difference. It genuinely does. And especially at the moment, obviously prices are just through the roof. So for little guys like us, it's a shame, but at the same time it's understandable. But we only get maybe 10-15% discount on certain things. Top teams or people get obviously product support. I mean, even that, anything from free visors to a helmet, anything's we're talking £400-500. Everything just seems to be around that mark, and that's a week's salary for most people. We are trying to work as hard as we can, prep everything at the same time. It's like 2 jobs or even more, because I say you just don't stop. I don't think I've been Tesco's in about 2 months, because you just got to plan your life around all this, but it's worth it, and we choose to do it. So it'd be nice for a lot of people to see that. That's the part that I think shocks more people than actually seeing us go down Bray Hill and stuff. It's the actual lifestyle and preparation and the effort that has to go into it. People just have this impression that we just turn up with a bike maybe out of a box, put the fairings on, they just all fit perfect, every bolt's there, and you just go out, and it's not. It's constant chasing, emailing people because they haven't done something in time, or this is wrong, that doesn't fit. It's tough.
Almost sounds like being on the start line is the easy bit.
It is, because it's that point where you can then just relax. It's, you know, you've done all you can, and whatever is going to be is going to be. You can just enjoy it at that point. You know?
I guess, yeah, it's switching off, isn't it? It's almost the meditative part of it where you're not worrying about it because there's nothing you can do to that point.
Yeah, you've got to enjoy it as well, haven't you? All that sacrifice, stress, money is, you have to enjoy every second of being out there. And I was last night. It was scary, especially on that big bike. Well, I wish more people could actually understand what that's like. Watching it it's amazing, isn't it? But when you're on it, honestly, it doesn't do it justice. GoPros and YouTube do not do justice to what that feels like.
Obviously, compared to the MGP then, I mean, you've only had a very small taste of TT so far. Is there a massive difference? Same course, obviously, but a very different beast?
Yeah, I mean, I know it sounds daft, but I don't like even knowing where people I know are watching and like that, so I could sort of sense there was a bigger crowd, but I zone it out. Like, even on the start line, you'll never see my head turn like half a degree. I just don't like that sort of pressure of being looked at, really. I don't know. The Grand Prix was a lot more relaxed. This is, I think it's the pressure you put on yourself. Say Blackpool Donkey again and Grand National. I feel like I'm just eating my porridge and they're all there on this like amazing stud feed, and you feel like you need to bring everything you've got, really. You can't sort of relax. You can't go out and just go, I'm just going to sort of get a feel for it, which I felt you could at the Manx, which is what it's about. Like here, you just think, you know, they just say, right, all the bikes go up now for 1,000 class, for example, last night, and you passing Paget's bikes and stuff like that when you're going up to the start line, and like, you know that Toddy or Connor or someone's going to come on that in a second, probably come up behind you. And obviously Connor did actually tapped his seat, bless him, for me coming out of Gooseneck, so I followed him over the mountain, which was, again, you know, I've known Connor since I moved over here. My mum used to work with him at Lloyd's. To then being on the road with like one of the top 5 road racers in the world, and him tapping his seat to say, come with me, and like, I'm going to help you and show you, like another local lad who come through, say, Andreas Racing and stuff, because that's where I used to watch him. That's where you forget every late night, every moment. Yeah, you'll never buy that. That's what it's all about for me. Them moments there, it's not about times or a piece of paper or a trophy. You know, I've never been about that. It's just about achieving the TT dream.
But people do see something in you, Dave. I mean, we were here and Nick Young, who managed to persuade you to come and do this podcast today, bless you, handed you a cheque from somebody. People do see something in you, and I know that probably gives you that sense of responsibility, but you know, you are hugely talented. You look at your racing record in, as we've said, such a short space of time. You won the ARA Derby for our endurance, what was that, back in 2022. You know, there is absolute talent there, and honestly, if anyone's listening, there's got to be room to get a donkey on a pair of leathers for you. You've mentioned
I've got a cow.
Have you?
Yeah. There's a cow. Farmer Dave, he's my granddad. He's got a little cow, and then we brand, obviously my number changes all the time, but it's like we brand his rear with like my number, so he's got a little 56 on there at the moment. It's just like a little joke, obviously, but it's just like a little sticker as a thank you for him. It's just a crazy cow, you know. He's a good character. Our Farmer Dave, so there's room for a donkey on there, I think.
Absolutely got to be. So if anyone's listening and can make that happen. Was there anybody else you wanted to mention in terms of support and getting you through what is just such an incredible feat? Oh,
everybody. Honestly, the people who are on the bike know exactly who they are. I mean, we've got, you say, Reynolds and Turner, we've got Kira and Pete, they're coming over, Dave Pearce, say Ian and Premier Construction, Mark and Roy, they've been fantastic, and say the rest of his family, even my family. You know, my mum's bringing me up stews, and I had to force her to the Cregna bar yesterday. She wants to sit like in the actual paddock, you see. She's same as all mums, they're nervous, aren't they? Which I think as racers we blank out, and maybe we pull away a little bit, because even though we're confident that we're going to do everything we can and we're safe, we know what's going on every second around that course. We sort of like selfishly, I think, or not even, I don't know if it's like a survival instinct, we don't want them to panic, and we don't probably think about it, so we don't worry about it, if that makes sense. I want her to go and see me out there. I don't want her to just think, oh yeah, my son's on the TT, like she knows how hard we've all worked for it, so I'd rather her go and actually see it and then have a memory of me out there. But yeah, it was a bit cruel. I think she was a bit upset with me because putting her through that. But yeah, like I say, it's everybody. Say Reynolds and Turner, we had an issue with belly pans not fitting last minute, and he came in on literally the day before, sorted it, painted it, it was back with me in a few hours. That's what I say about local sponsors. They're the ones that I love on board, like Q Plus Callow, deal with them for work, and they jumped on board, paid for my levers and stuff, and it's nice to repay them.
And it's different. I mean, I know MGP, you have people wandering around doing little interviews and stuff like that. I mean, I've never seen so many cameras as there were in the paddock and around Parc Fermé last night, and you know, that must be tough as well when you're wanting to just get into a zone and then you have a microphone shoved in your face.
Oh, they don't come to me. No, we're okay at the bottom end. We're okay. They wouldn't even know who I was to talk to me, to be honest with you. So I do actually feel bad for the top guys, to be honest with you, because they are like they're walking everywhere, and obviously they've got a camera following them. So it must be horrible. I mean, I'd get anxiety over that. that's the worst part for me. I'd rather just slip up in like the Stig with my helmet on, just nobody, like, visor down so no one can see me, and just crack on, really. Yeah.
There's another leather set idea. Honestly, they're all coming out today.
I'm Andrew Cronin. I'm one of the directors and owners of Isle of Man Racers Community 365, together with Nick Young.
And I just want to bring you in here, Andrew, because we've been talking about sponsorship and really for the privateers, just what goes in, not just physically, but in terms of trying to finance a dream like going to the TT. From your point of view, you are supporting a rider. How does that all work? When do you decide that you're going to do something like that?
I suppose, at the end of the day, it's when the riders gain the attention of somebody, as has happened here. We can make a decision as to who we want to try and support. And I think that's the same with a lot of people. It's the riders getting their attention and getting known to the people who want to support riders. And that's what we want to use this platform for. So that's what we're going to do in this instance. And that can range from, your upcoming privateers all the way through to even the big boys, because although people think on a big ride everything's being paid for, it's certainly not the case. So the idea with the racers community is to ensure that everyone from starting out all the way through has the opportunity to be able to raise some sort of support through the group. As I say, there's 300,000 members and 290,000 of them, they're from outside of the Isle of Man. So there's a lot of support from many countries around the world, because there's a lot of riders that come from around the world.
So you're sitting next to Dave Rigby at the moment, and I don't want you to feel embarrassed, Dave, but I am going to ask Andrew, you talk about somebody catching your attention and you're thinking, right, yeah, he is somebody that I want to invest in. What was it about Dave?
It was Nick.
He's got an eye for talent. That's what it is. He's like the Simon Cowell of the bike world, Nick is.
Yeah, he came along and just said, I know this lad, he's super fast, he's super good, he's going to get there, and he's going to be one of the top riders, and I think we should be supporting him.
And what does support mean? Is it all financial?
The finance is obviously a big part of it for the riders, because without the money, they can't go do the riding. But it's exposure as well, likes of this through Manx Radio, Manx Radio Motorsport, exposure for the group. The group's there all year round. We've had, on the last counts, in the last 12 months, we had 36 million views on the group. So that's a lot of exposure for riders throughout the whole year, not just the few weeks leading up, during and after, the likes of the TT or Manx Grand Prix. So, there's multiple avenues. It could be even, putting their merchandise onto the website. There'll be a merchandise shop coming after this year's TT. And that's there really for, the privateers and any other riders to that extent to, be able to continue selling their merchandise, which helps raise money for them. So, yeah, there's multiple avenues in terms of how we can assist that.
You're going to have to listen to the podcast in full, Andrew, to find out why I'm going to say this, but there has to be a donkey involved in Dave's merchandise somewhere. Okay, Dave, if we are talking in 2 weeks and TT 2024 is done, then what will success have looked like for you?
No mechanical failures, just a bike that I can ride and enjoy. Just know that because I don't I'll never push it beyond what I'm comfortable doing. So as long as I just know that I've done as good as I can within my limit, that I haven't put anything on the line to risk it, because I say it's not about that for me, it's not worth risking it, just trying to get a place or two or a mile an hour or two. Obviously that comes in time if you use your head, really. You don't want to be going out and crashing on the first night of practice and silly stuff like that. It's just about leaving knowing that I rode as well as I felt I could do. And the biggest part, honestly, the memories that you actually leave with are the ones with the family and the sponsors who come down and we're sat in the sun and we're having a laugh. And it gives everyone the experience. So it's just that, it's walking away with good memories and being with the best friends and family and, sponsors.
And what's happening post-TT? We got that far yet?
Probably try not to answer the phone, take just BC. Probably just pay off whatever's obviously, it just keeps, going over and over the budget. So I'd like to do one more. They've invited me there, and I went there to do my first road race to get the Manx approval, and that was an amazing course, an amazing setup and people involved. So they've invited me back there. So hopefully, if I don't need to sell the bike and not answer the door to the bailiffs, I can go back there and enjoy that again. That'd be amazing.
Dave, it's been brilliant talking to you, and thank you so much. It's a real insight, I think, into what goes into making this happen, and we wish you all the best for the fortnight.
Thanks, Beth. Cheers.
Dave Rigby, and we really do wish him all the best for TT 2024. Also great to hear from Andrew Cronin from a sponsor's point of view as well, so thank you very much to both of them. This podcast has been brought to you by Kawasaki Insurance. To find out how you can get covered, just visit kawasaki-insurance.co.uk. If you've got a story you'd like to tell, please do get in touch, bethesby@manxradio.com. But until next time, take care. Bye-bye.